All right, let's dive straight into a really dark psychological deconstruction of the mafia. We're totally stripping away the Hollywood glamour today to reveal the true cost of the criminal underworld. In this explainer, we're going to trace a deeply unsettling journey, walking through every single rank of the Italian mafia, from the absolute bottom all the way to the top. And, this isn't just about crime. It's actually a fascinating look at the complete and utter erosion of human identity. So picture this. Put yourself in the shoes of an errand boy. The air is heavy, it reeks of old cigar smoke, and you're holding a brown paper bag stuffed with $12,400 in cash. You're just standing there by a coat rack in a little espresso shop, desperately watching the boss, sitting in his leather chair, just waiting for your chance. You don't interrupt him. You never look him in the eye. You're just a small fish. Maybe you aren't quote-unquote Italian enough yet. Or, well, you haven't shed blood. Section 1. The bottom. Hustle and obedience. This is where your journey actually begins. Living right on the margins of power. You're parking their luxury cars, you're picking up the dry cleaning, moving betting slips from corner shops to back rooms. And you're constantly navigating these invisible traps just to survive. I mean, you never ask direct questions about the work, you never introduce two people unless you're explicitly asked to, and you absolutely never put your hands in your pockets when a man of status is talking to you. You take all the risk, right? But they take all the profit. In the very beginning, your only currency is obedience. You swallow your pride literally every hour, laughing at the boss's terrible jokes, smiling when he insults you. But as you abandon your old friends, the ones still living in the regular world of 9-to-5 jobs and taxes, your own identity kind of starts to fade. You tell yourself, oh, I'm just raising money to start a real business. But come on, that's a lie. The hook is already in your mouth. You're just waiting for that chance to flip your currency from obedience to fear. Section 2. The muscle. The currency of violence. And eventually, that chance comes. You've officially crossed the line to become the enforcer. Now you're standing in the freezing, pouring rain behind some closed auto shop at 3:15 in the morning. You're definitely no longer the errand boy. People in the neighborhood, they look at you differently now. They literally step out of your way on the sidewalk. Just standing behind the boss with your arms crossed is a silent threat. So say Tommy owes the family 45 grand and he's been dodging calls. The boss doesn't even yell. He just hands you a metal baseball bat and an address. And as you're standing over Tommy in that dark alley while he's crying about his daughter and his mortgage, you realize your empathy is just gone. Completely gone. It's been replaced by this cold, surgical calculation. Violence is just a tool now. You know exactly how much pain to inflict to get a signature on a piece of paper without bringing the cops to your door. Section 3. The made man. Absolute loyalty. So your brutal efficiency on the street earns you a midnight phone call on a cheap burner phone. A voice just says, wear a suit, be at the club at 8 o'clock. You're being summoned to a windowless basement to officially join the inner circle. There are 5 men in the room, the upper management. On the table sits a gun and a knife. The boss asks if you're ready to kill for the family and if you're ready to die for it. You say yes. They prick your index finger, smear your blood on a paper card with a picture of a saint on it, light it on fire, and place it right in your open hands. And you don't flinch. You swear that just as this saint burns, your soul will burn in hell if you ever betray the family. You are reborn into this life, and, well, you only leave it in death. In that exact moment, you were instantly transformed into an official citizen of a secret state. If an outsider so much as touches you, they're a dead man. You feel totally untouchable, granted this absolute freedom from normal society's laws. But here's the crazy paradox. You are actually completely enslaved to the mafia's commands. There are no sick days. There's no retirement. If the boss orders you to leave your wife or even kill your best friend, you pull the trigger. No hesitation. Section 4. Middle management. Money and paranoia. From there, you ascend into middle management, and the pressure fundamentally shifts from physical street survival to, well, financial production. You're moving away from breaking bones in alleys. That's for the lower ranks to handle now. Instead, you're operating right at this intersection of street violence and high-level financial fraud. You're controlling local construction unions, deciding who gets the steel contracts, setting up phantom jobs, bribing politicians and judges. $40,000. Every single Friday, a guy hands you a thick envelope containing 40 grand in pure, untraceable cash. You're the lifeblood of the family now. Because violence is expensive and brings heat, but money is quiet. And yet, the sheer paranoia of this lifestyle means not a single penny of this massive wealth is actually registered in your real name. You have literally become a systematic machine. You kick up a 20% tribute to the boss every single month. You're laundering cash through car washes, deliberately bankrupting legitimate companies, and draining regular workers' pension funds. You are ruining thousands of lives from afar, using a ledger instead of a baseball bat. And you justify it, right? You tell yourself Wall Street does the exact same thing. They just have a better PR department. You even smile as you hand over your envelopes of cash to a boss you secretly know is skimming the difference off the top. By the time you reach the rank of capo, surrounded by soldiers who kiss your cheek out of respect, your emotional detachment is absolute. It's totally complete. If there's even a whisper of a rumor that one of your top earners is talking to the police, you just casually tell a soldier to make the problem disappear. And then, days later, you attend that man's funeral. You hug his crying widow, you tell her he was a good man, and you feel absolutely nothing. Human lives have just become assets and liabilities on a balance sheet. Section 5. The Boss, Power, and Prison. Eventually, the older generation gets locked up, or they die off, and you ascend to the role of underboss, and finally, boss. You are sitting at the absolute peak of the mountain. Your word is law over hundreds of men. You're a multimillionaire, a historic figure whose name is going to be whispered in federal buildings and on the streets for decades to come. But you're also the lightning rod for the entire syndicate. Your status implies ultimate power and wealth, but think about your day-to-day reality for a second. You're essentially trapped in a windowless basement lined with acoustic foam. You have to blast the static on the TV just to mask your conversations from hidden FBI microphones. You have all the money in the world, but you can't go to a baseball game, you can't eat in a nice restaurant, you can't even carry a smartphone. And your own kids, they want absolutely nothing to do with your name. You're a king living inside a cage. The FBI has dedicated an entire massive team strictly to you. Black cars follow you from your driveway to the local bakery. You're scouring your own vehicles for magnetic tracking devices every single morning. You have zero trust left. You can't even trust your own driver, constantly terrified he might sell you out for a reduced sentence. You start drinking heavily just to stop your hands from shaking. And you start ordering executions not out of anger, but out of pure proactive terror. You're having men killed just in case they might become a problem 5 years down the line. Section 6. The Ghost, a Hollow End. Decades pass. The golden era of the Mafia dies off, completely crushed by new federal laws. Your incredibly loyal crew? They're either locked up for life, dead, or they flipped and cooperated with the police. And yet, you survived. Now, you're left as an 80-year-old man in a wheelchair sitting on a back porch, the sun just hitting your frail skin. You're being fed applesauce and having your blood pressure checked by a nurse who has absolutely no idea who you are. To her, you're just some grumpy old man with a bad heart. Sitting in that wheelchair, the ghosts of the men you ordered killed crowd the porch, just staring at you in silence. And it hits you. You realize this devastating truth. Loyalty was always a myth. It was just a story sold to the young to keep them in line. You spent decades climbing this ladder made of blood and money. You sacrificed your soul, your identity, your basic humanity, just to win a kingdom of complete silence and total isolation. You beat the system, sure, but you are the only person left in the room. But I want to leave you with a final, really provocative thought. Right now, 1,000 miles away, the cycle is already restarting. At this exact moment, a new, hungry kid is standing by a coat rack in a heavy, smoke-filled room, tightly gripping an envelope with $12,400 in it. He thinks he understands the game. He thinks he knows exactly what it takes. He is completely, totally unaware that the leather chair he covets so badly is actually his tomb. So I have to ask, how much of our own humanity are we willing to trade for the simple illusion of power? Think about that for a while. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.